Hi students, today we are going to see module 4, network security. So what is security? Why we have to protect the networks? Why we have to secure the networks? See, if you see what is the purpose of network? What is computer networks? It is nothing but transmission of data between the source and the destination. So if your data has to be communicated securely, then you have to secure the networks. So this is the ultimate purpose of the network security. Today we are going to see these things like network security overview, elements of network security, classification of network security, network attacks and the security methods. Next, network security overview. So as I said, network security is the process of taking physical and software preventive measures to protect the underlying networking infrastructure from unauthorized access, misuse, malfunction, modification, destruction or improper disclosure, thereby creating a secure platform for computers, users, etc. See, from the source to the destination, if the data has been communicated, then what will happen in the network is it may be taken by the or it may be accessed by the unauthorized people. It can be modified, it can be misused, it can be destructed, or it can be passed. The data can be given to some other destinations. So these are the possibilities of the misuse when the data packets passes or travels from the source to the destination. So what we can do here is we can either give the physical or software measures to secure the data whichever is passed through the network. So we will see what are the measures we can take either physically or through the software to secure the data which passes through the network. Elements of network security. See, we have four elements basically in the network security. In this syllabus, they have given only three, don't worry. The first one is confidentiality. Confidentiality is nothing but whatever the data is communicated between the sender and the receiver, it should be only known to the sender and the receiver. Nobody else should know. That is confidentiality. Next comes authenticity. Authenticity is nothing but if I receive the data, I should ensure that the data comes from the authorized sender. And if I'm sending the data, I have to ensure that whether the data sent by me goes only to the authorized person or to anybody else. This is authenticity. Then integrity. What is integrity? Integrity is nothing but when the data passes through the network, it should not be modified by any unauthorized person. See, if I'm sending the data called I'm going to Chennai, it should, if the unauthorized person accesses the data and modifies it as I'm going to Bangalore, then that is nothing but integrity is not maintained. It has been modified by the unauthorized person. Whichever data I have sent that should reach the destination without any modification. If that is there, then we can ensure that integrity is there. So we have to ensure these qualities these things to provide the network security: confidentiality, authenticity and integrity. And one more thing is there which is not given here, that is non-repudiation. What is non-repudiation? See, I'm sending the data now, and after some time if I refuse that I have not sent this data, then that is nothing but non-repudiation. So, as a network security specialist, always we have to ensure that we are providing these four things to our data in the network. Classification of network attacks. Okay. So, how can we classify the attack? What is attack? If anybody tries to uh, stop the guarantees, what are the guarantees which we have to provide the network security, to give the network security? That is confidentiality, integrity, authenticity and non-repudiation. If these four qualities are prohibited or stopped or damaged by any action, that is called attack. By any unauthorized person, that is called attack. So we have classified the attacks into DNS hacking, routing table poisoning, packet mistreatment, denial of service. So first we'll see what is DNS hacking. See, DNS is nothing but domain name system. What is domain name system servers use? See, it is going to maintain a cache, DNS called DNS cache, in which the domain names and its corresponding IP address will be stored. Why we need this DNS cache? See, it is not possible for the human being to remember the IP address of all the websites which we are going to use. And similarly, it is not possible by the machines to understand the website, that is domain names called www.google.com, www.gmail.com, rediffmail.com. Is it possible for the machines to understand the domain names? No. They can understand only the IP address, but we can memorize, the human beings can memorize only the domain names. So in order to resolve these problems, they have invented a new system called DNS cache, which helped us to map the domain name into the IP address and the reverse process. So if we type rediffmail.com, the DNS will take the responsibility, convert it into IP address, and it will route the packets to that IP address. And when it comes back, again the same process will be done. So this is how the DNS works. So what will happen if the DNS itself, DNS server, is hacked by any attacker? That's what we are going to see now. See, if what and all possibilities, please imagine what and all possibilities are there if at all DNS hacking is done, or DNS cache is changed, entries are changed. What will happen? See, as I said, domain name and its respective and its corresponding IP address will be stored in the DNS cache. If the attacker wants to hack the DNS server, what he will do, for www.google.com, for example, the IP address is 172.0.0.0. Let us assume like this. See, if he wants to hack, what he will do is he will change the IP address value. Instead of 172.0.0.0, he may change it to 192.2.1.1. So what he is doing here? He is doing hacking. This is nothing but information level attack. An information level attack forces a server to respond with something other than the correct answer. I want to go to google.com, but the website is taking me to some other website. Then that is nothing but information level. You all would have crossed this situation. We will be trying to access some website, but it will take us to some other website. What is that then? It is nothing but DNS information level attack. Next comes masquerading attack. So what is the use? What is the purpose of taking us to the different website which we are not interested? See, they may act like us. First they will get the information, secure information from us. With that information they will act, and they will use our information to get the beneficiaries. Masquerading is nothing but acting. They will act as an authorized person and they will get the beneficiaries. So to act as a authorized person, what they need some data. So that will be retrieved by doing all this hacking, and they will act as a authorized person. So this is nothing but masquerading attack. They will act as authorized person and get the benefits of authorized person. Next comes hijacking, domain hijacking. It is very interesting topic. See, what happens if I want to access the SBI website? What I will do, I'll go to my Google browser. I will type www.sbi.com. So it will go to my DNS and it will check for the IP address of my SBI. So as I said already, it has been hacked by some unauthorized person. So what it will happen, it will they would have given some fake SBI websites. They would have created some fake SBI website, and that IP address would have been entered in the DNS cache, so that if the authorized people enters the SBI website, it will take them to the fake website which was developed by the unauthorized people. So it will take them to the unauthorized website, SBI fake website, and they will give their all credentials like username, password, transaction password, everything. So they will take all the data which was given in the fake website, and now what will happen, they will act, there comes up this masquerading attack comes into play here. They will act as the authorized person, they will use all your credentials in the original website, and they will take all your money and they'll get benefited. So this is what domain hijacking attack. So they will use the fake website and they will act as an authorized person in the original website and they will get the benefits. So these are the possible attacks in DNS hijacking or DNS attacks. Next possible attack is routing table poisoning attack. As we all know, you would have studied in networks, ad hoc networks, everything, that if you want to route the packet from the source to destination, we need a routing table. So what is the use of routing table? It will give the shortest and the cheapest path based on the cost. So many factors. Okay, cost, distance, everything. And so if at all the routing table is poisoned, if routing table is attacked, what will happen? What are the impacts of the routing table poisoning attack? That's what we are going to see in this session. A routing table poisoning attack is the undesired modification of routing tables. An attacker can do this by maliciously modifying the routing information, update packets sent by the routers. So for the routing tables should work efficiently. To work efficiently, it has to get the updates from all its neighbors or all the hosts in the network. So if at all the updates have not been received by the router properly, or if the routing table entries are deleted, or if the routing tables are not updated properly, then what will happen? It will not give the proper decision to move for the packets to move from the source to the destination. Then obviously what will happen, the throughput will increase, the time taken by the packet to reach from the source to the destination will increase, and sometimes it may get dead. If the time period elapses, then the packet will be dropped by the routers. So these are the possibilities or the impact of the routing table poisoning attacks. Okay, what are the further classifications in the routing table poisoning attacks? The first one is link attack. So here they can attack two things. One is link, the other one is router. So link attack occurs when the hacker gets access to the link and thereby interrupts or modifies routing messages on packets. Yes, in the link what they can do is they will get the data, they can stop the data, they can drop the packet there itself, or they can modify. As I said, they can impose the threat to integrity, modify routing messages on packets, address, source destination address can be changed, anything they can do, even data they can change. These are the link attacks that can be done. Next comes router attacks. Instead of attacking the link, the router itself, if they are going to attack, everything will be collapsed. See, router attack may affect the link state protocol or even the distance vector protocol. These are the protocols which helps us to decide the best path based on the factors which I said, like cost, number of intermediate host, or all these things. If the link state protocol routers are attacked, they become malicious. They may add a non-existing link to a routing table, delete an existing link, or even change the cost of the link. So what will happen? They may give the wrong destination. They may give the non-existing link, whichever is not existing, or they may delete the original existing link. So what cost of the link will be changed so that it will be routed to some other path, and it will take so much time. By the meantime, it will be dead. The time will increase, and the packets will be dropped, obviously. So these are the possible attacks in the routing table poisoning attack. So with this we'll conclude this, and we'll see in the next session.